is insanely bright over my workbench.
What is it always? Oh shit, we're live. What is up, peoples of YouTube? I'm the Motorcycle Mick, and today, what are you saying? How can you not hear me? Are we losing audio? Did I lose? Did I mute myself? No. Oh shit. Well, we got the man, the myth, the legend in here now.
Where?
I haven't even got my fucking intro into this shit. I do my like 20 seconds of like, hey, this is what my video was. And so yeah, now that I suck at life, I can't even do this straight face.
What is up? Just throwing this out there. I can't hear you, brother.
You can't hear me?
What? I can hear you.
What about now?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I just can't hear him.
1 second. Can you hear me now? No, he can't hear me. Why? Why do I always? Okay, cool. Fucking a minute and 12 seconds into this live stream, and I still have accomplished jack shit. Son of a bitch. All right. What is up, peoples of YouTube? I'm the Motorcycle Mick, and today we are back with another Mick and Friends live stream talking about motorcycle stuff. I guess. Yeah, something like that. All right, so my video last week, or this last Tuesday, which you guys watched, was destinations I'm traveling in Michigan this year. And then going to other places, but like I said, it's just for Michigan. All right, cool. Got that out of the way. Now, let's get to the people we have with... Where the fuck is Wigsley at?
Still smoking.
He is. All right, well, since we're going to skip him, you guys all met the Norseman last week. He is still yet to put a video out because he's a dick. And we have Johnny Roadblock with us today. And if you guys don't know who he is, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
This is the way.
If you guys
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. Where's the child?
I'm fucking putting my helmet on for doing this shit. So, if you guys don't know who Johnny Roadblock is, he is a moderator and voice of the Angels for the podcast Between Two Wheels, of which there's a lot of shenanigans that goes on, and we learned that Bike and Bird is actually a pansy and will not come to the studio with him this week.
So, to be fair, that's more of for his wife. He didn't want to risk us infecting him or him infecting her. I get it. But
that's fair.
Any opportunity we have to give people shit, we try to give people shit. So
I have a question. Did you guys actually touch hands in the studio? I mean,
dude, we hugged. I mean, we're bikers. we'll hug. You know, sometimes Uncle Ken needs a cuddle. So, you know, we're there for each other.
It's always a bunch of savage fun stuff. I mean honestly, like I have not, up until like a month and a half ago, until someone mentioned like, hey man, you listen to podcasts? I had not ever listened to one. And then it popped up like, oh, you listen to Five Dirty Bikers. Have you ever thought about Between Two Wheels? I'm like, no, but I guess I am now. and then I got to hear that, like, literally, dude, I'm not gonna lie, at work, I just listen to your guys' podcast nonstop now because I work by myself. I'm a sad person. But yeah, man, like you guys have a lot of good stuff with opinions on Harley-Davidson, which I really appreciate because that shit's fun as fuck for me. Because I mean, I'm not a good Harley person advertiser, but
yeah, no. So it's tough too because I still get some hate from my former coworkers from when I worked at Harley. So that, and there's a rep from Harley that we know, and he'll ask me, he's like, do you purposely say this shit to get under our skin? I was like, no. I'm never going to ask y'all for a sponsorship, so it's all good.
Well, yeah, I've had that asked to me before. They're like, well, what if Harley ever offered you a sponsorship? I'd be like, No, I'm not gonna sell out for that shit, man. Like,
I would.
I
Here's the thing.
No shit.
If they were to say, hey, we want to fly you guys out to Arizona or California, go ride some new motorcycles or something, okay, I'll do that. But I'm not gonna give up the right to be honest with my listeners. At the end of the day, they're looking to us for, our opinions, our thoughts, and all that shit on something they don't want to hear is bullshit them. That's the issue. And fuck it.
No.
If you're gonna put some kind of non-disclosure agreement on me, I can't participate.
well, and
Can't take that kind of censorship.
No.
no, and I feel
Man.
like that's why I have way more fun, like finding companies that Harley doesn't work with that actually do stuff with me, because in my mind, I like that mom and pop shop feel. And like I did, I showed No Show that too, or to the Norseman, whatever you guys want to call him right now. We're still deciding, but well, dude, I did a video with these new fucking man, I can't even fucking. I did them with the Rogue Riders Industries lights.
Okay.
They're blinkers, right?
Yep.
And I held this, like the ones that I held up, the custom dynamics ones that are $80 a set, and then I held up the Rogue Riders Industry one that's $80 a set. And this is like their base model to custom dynamics, and those things look like they're fucking from the 80s. Honestly, like he pointed, No Show or Norseman pointed that out. It was like the 80s shit. It was trash.
So let me here, just a sec.
Oh,
Very dramatic. Hey, I have a question real quick. Did you work for a dealership or the motor company?
Big fan of Rogue Rider. They were actually one of our very first. Actually, they were our first sponsor.
Rich is a great fucking guy, man.
Dude, I have never had a better experience. Yeah, I mean, come on. You have that.
Look at that, dude.
That
And then
literally looks like you found those in a 1980s electronics kit.
Hold on. These are the ones I got off of. Yeah. Okay, so look at that. But now look at this.
What it's
This
supposed
is,
to be like.
This is the one I got from
look
Custom
how
Dynamics.
thick that board is. It just feels like quality. It doesn't feel like some child made it in a sweatshop in Wuhan or something.
This is the Wuhan one, and it still looks better than the Custom Dynamics fucking lights.
Yeah,
a different sweatshop.
Look, we'd like to talk a lot of shit about Chinesium products, but I'll tell you right now, I have some products that I buy made in China, and it's as quality or higher than OEM. Advent Black, for instance, all their stuff is produced in China, shipped over. I've never had any issues with their quality. So it comes out of the company.
I'm going to chime in on that, and I'm pretty certain what it really comes down to is what you're basically designing. You send a print over there, and they build to the print. Nothing more, nothing less.
Right.
With the custom dynamics light, they chose those components for LED to use the 1980 version of the LED. And the way it was assembled and the way it was put together, you can just see that this design wasn't there. So with that situation, it's like, things that come out of China aren't necessarily like poor quality or bad. It's just the design aspect of it wasn't there. So, that's just my 2 cents on it.
They all come from China. It just depends on the quality that the person that's getting the product made is going to hold it to. And right now, I had a breakdown. And right now, like, I absolutely love my Tab Performance mufflers, but I do drag racing for a oh fuck. So, son of a bitch, I did it. I finally fucking did it. So I do drag racing for certain people. Oh yeah, you've never seen this, have you?
Interesting.
Imagine a dude on a
like-
Harley riding around on this.
Literally, it's like riding with a space case.
It is. But
I don't know if you've looked at my profile, but I'm a big fan of the half shells. And I had my camera mounted upside down on my half shell and all of my shit for the comms because I had the Senna backpack on the GoPro Hero 4. Man, that shit was great. So all kinds of goofy shit we'll try out. Anything to make content, right?
well, dude, the reason I went with that is because I have a tinted out windshield. And so, like, if you had it down here, you're looking through it and it's like dark on a darker day. You can't see shit. And I'm like, oh, what do I got to do? I'm like, oh, I can mount on top of my head. And I didn't like the lollipop. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take that GoPro mount people take for the side of their face to go over. Just put it on my fucking forehead.
Yeah. Hey, if it works, it works.
I don't like, oh, so we got a first one right here. We got this. Jiggy Fly says, I don't like the white halo front turns. I like amber. Looks better reflection on my dash at night. So, Jiggy Fly, I will tell you real quick,
That
and
was super neat.
Johnny Roadblock will tell you this too, is the fact that with these Road Rider Industry SIGs that there's not a halo, it's a solid white light. And then when the blinker turns on, they flash between amber and white. So they are not like the fucking Custom Dynamics. But so real quick before we get too far, all right? So, okay, one of you was here last week, all right? So how this works is I always have 2 extra slots. And so what I do is I let people on the side, I'll post a link in the side, and we'll take people in here to I'll invite other people in here. So it's like I don't have a set group of people that are in the live streams. I don't advertise really who's on the live streams just because I think it's more fun when there's not that pressure there of I mean, I feel fucking pressure at all, but I just like to have fun and really anything flies. And then questions start flying out. So real quick, before we get too far, Wigsley, you're the dude this way. This guy right here is the guy I fucking ride with up here in Michigan. One of the motor vloggers. So tell us a little bit about your channel, and then we'll let Johnny Roadblock talk about his little world of his shenanigans.
All right, well, it's youtube.com/Wigsley. I simply put am Wigsley and you are not is the idea. It's just a vlog channel, essentially. It's the adventures of me and my idiot friends. And we do charity for disabled veterans. And I work at some large-scale events here in the Detroit area. And so I go do those things. It's a little less of a moto vlog and a little more of a vlog in the day of a person working a large-scale event and the event from my perspective.
Sweet.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Perfectly. It's like you may have thought about that in your head once or twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fuck off, Clarkston, Michigan.
Sweet, dude. Sweet.
I always have my phone on silent. Like literally, I can only imagine. Like,
Your ringer.
yeah, it is. Okay, but honestly, I've had so many fucking times where I'm filming videos, like great content, and I'm like on this perfect thought stream, and all of a sudden my phone's just like, "Hey, Reddit wants to say hi." Like, fuck you,
Who the
Reddit.
fuck's phone makes noise?
Yeah. All right. So Johnny Roadblock, I kind of talked about it a little bit, but tell us more about the Between Two Wheels and the shenanigans you get into.
It's a podcast.
All right, guys, and that's the live stream. Bye.
Yeah. No, so it's interesting. I don't know if you guys have ever had or if you've experienced this or not, but I was a fan of Bikenberg, right? And he had a meetup. He had like 300, 400 followers, something like that, right? And he had a meetup in San Antonio to go up to the Texas Moto Vlogger meetup thing where a bunch of really big YouTubers were showing up. So met him there. That was the first time we ever met. And I met Uncle Ken that same day. And then I kind of, we rode, didn't really do anything, didn't really hang out. I think I'd kind of disappeared for about 9 months or so, just work. And then I started coming back around, kind of going on some of the rides and stuff. And we just all clicked, became friends. They've pretty consistently given me shit for my paycheck and where it's at compared to them. But yeah, I mean, we built a bond, and I'd been toying with the idea of starting a podcast around video games. And buddy of mine, we kind of started doing some research about it. And then when the accident happened where Justin rear-ended me, and my bike was down, we kind of started discussing some ideas around just doing a motorcycle podcast. I was like, the three of us are pretty fucking opinionated, and we rarely ever actually agree. Let's see what happens. So, a couple months go by, I start building out the studio and all that shit, and kind of amassing all the gear. And then we tried, and our very first episode, I think, as soon as I hit stop on the record button, we're like, okay, that fucking sucked. Let's do something better. And we just did a quick outline of what we want to talk about. And episode 2 came out of thin air. And we scripted episode 1. I mean, every little part, who we are, it was terrible. And it just, we kind of had, we had about 10 people listen to it, and 8 of that was just, us. And probably around the second or third month, we had a big surge. We had like 40 listens. And we're like, okay. And when we were really riding on the coattails of Justin, right, with the Bike and Bird channel, I think at that time he had, 13, 14,000 subscribers and all that shit. And then we got lucky, and because of his level and his network from other YouTubers, we were able to start doing interviews and stuff. And that exploded our channel, or our, not channel, but podcast. We're probably going to hit 100,000 downloads in 2.5, 3 weeks. Jesus. We'll finally break the 100,000 mark. So I wanted to hit that before we hit our 2-year anniversary, and that's in June. So I'm pretty stoked. But really, we come up with ideas, and then we kind of figure out, is anyone actually going to give a shit about these ideas? And then we just go at it. I'll build out the outline, put it out there for them. Uncle Ken never fucking looks at it, unless I put in, like, we have a little Facebook message group, and I'll put in there, action required. And then they'll go look. So, if there's something they have to do research on or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's been great. Honestly, we don't bicker, we don't argue. They give me shit, and then I just start escalating it as much as I can. That's why we have all the emojis, thumbnails on the YouTube channel. I suck at Photoshop. I'm okay admitting that.
I use PicMonkey.
That's so ghetto.
My thumbnails, like, they might look good, but like the thumbnail for this fucking one, it was just like, I'm gonna put a bunch of fucking squares. I'm gonna Google like a silhouette of a person and put a question mark. Like, fuck it.
So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. We went from, we met once to acquaintances to friends. Now we're brothers. We call them the OGs. Our group, it's family, and that's what it really comes down to, right? We have this sport that we all love, motorcycles, that brought all of us together, right? And just took I went from having a sister to now I have a bunch of asshole brothers. So it's great.
That's badass, man. But as these live streams always go, we always get into some shit now. So here's the deal. All right. I know that me and the Norseman have talked about this. I know that I've talked to Wigsley about this. And you guys made a whole fucking podcast about it. All right. And now that it's the aftermath, a month later, I've had a lot of time to think about fucking Harley's mid-year release. And it's been on my it's been on my
mid-year
mind.
disappointment.
And it's just like, I after listening to your guys' podcast about it and about just how everyone's thinking is like, all right, I've had so many old fucks that sit there and say that, oh yeah, dude, no, it's such a better bike. Like the fucking Softail Standard is this amazing bike. And I'm just like, literally made a whole video like it's a street bob. It is a street bob that has chrome. And
which makes it a perfect boomer bike.
But the chrome, like, that's what kills me is I've talked about this before, is the fact that my Heritage has devalued a lot because of the fucking boomers. All right. They absolutely hated the chrome. That's why the 107 now is chrome. Because they literally just roasted it. And it's like, these are the fuckers riding ultras and shit. All right. And I don't even know, man. I don't even know where to start with the way Harley pulled that shit off and the way they did stuff, because I can't even begin to, like, a paint job. Like, yeah, okay, you guys talked about that too, is the paint jobs are okay. They're kind of cool. It's a paint job.
Yeah, but not, just to chime in, that is not grounds enough for a mid-year release. If you're going to do a mid-year release, you need to come to the table with something amazing. And that's not what happened.
They need to come to the table with something that's going to whet our appetites, something that keeps us interested in their brand between the annual releases. That's where they're fucking up. Nothing has, they brought up the live wire. Big whoopie fucking do. The live wires it's a turd. Now, the only reason it's a turd is because of the price tag. And I'm sorry, Harley, you can't throw a Harley tax on the very first type of motorcycle you produce. You just can't. Now, if they had a quality second generation live wire or, lightning bolt up the ass, whatever they want to call it, put the Harley tax on that one. Don't fuck over anyone who may be interested in EV motorcycles and Harley-Davidson. You're scaring them away.
All right, since Patrick keeps giving me shit about this, okay, I'm gonna take a moment to say, is when the hell are we gonna see the new bike with the wheels?
What wheels?
Okay, so right now I have a 2018 Heritage Softail unicycle. All right, it's kind of like the Unibike. Oh, I can't say that. Well, is the FBI gonna listen to me now? Well, fuck the FBI. Anyways, so this is.
You do realize that all four of us look like we could be light-skinned terrorists, right?
Well,
it's actually
we can neither confirm nor deny any of that.
Privilege.
I'm just saying, you're already on a watch list. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, yeah. So the bike is getting the rear wheel put on tomorrow. Okay, the rear wheel will be on it. There's something else that's going on the bike that certain people know about, certain people don't, which is going to be a kind of a big shock to people. But also, the end product of it is going to be a badass video about why Harley has fucking let everyone down. And so this is a good question, because we have two people here, two sides of it. Because we have, I guess, well, you have a Sportster and y'all three have road glides that hold hands while they're riding. But no, man,
and Road Kings, and
but that's the thing, is like right now what we're sitting at is, you asked me Heritage versus Road King, and I know I have a strong opinion of why I picked the Heritage. The Norseman down there has a strong opinion about why he likes Road Kings, but we're not going to say anything. We have two outside opinions on this, so we're going to be like, what between the two of you? All right, now it's fight to the death. No survivors. All right. Road King or Heritage? And okay, we'll say modern. I will say 18 and up Road King, 18 and up Heritage. Choose your character.
All right, go ahead, Wiggs.
Road King all day. Road King special.
All right, well, fuck you. Back down to Johnny Roadblock. No, man. Why the Road King? All right.
That all black on black Road King with no fairing on it is in the mini apes, but but that one, that's just me personally. Like, that's the bike I could see spending Harley money on.
So the black. Where the fuck did No Show go? So the black on black is what you're going for. You like that?
I think it was like the 16. The Road King special was like murdered out hardcore and had like no fairing.
Well,
maybe Roadblock can confirm 16, maybe
17.
No, it was 18. Road King special, 2018 model.
It has like 12
in
inch.
vivid black.
Yeah, 12-inch bars. Yeah. It's just, it comes sexy from the factory. My thing is, I personally am not a chrome guy. And so it's like, there's none to get rid of on the goddamn thing. So, and it's a big bike. I'm not a fan of like bat wings or the shark nose, really. That's just me personally. I would rather have like, I could do like the Memphis Shades Road Warrior on something, but just the whole big attached factory fairing is not personally my thing. I guess it'd be cool someday, but for me right now, my theory is if I want a windshield, I'll drive my car. That bike just spoke to me.
But how well does your car run?
Shout out to my friend Brian Hall. He has that bike, and he has pimped it out, and he lives in Tennessee and works for Law Tiger, and he's a super cool dude and follows my channel and shit.
So you like the aesthetics of the Road King? It's nothing about motor, ride, anything like that. It's just the way.
Well, it's that class of bike, so it's going to have, it's a big beefy bike. If I was gonna buy a big beefy bike, that's the one.
So not a bike that weighs 130 pounds less and has a bigger motor.
Well, so he said special, so they'll have the same size motor.
Yeah. So 18. No, because in 18 they had the 107s.
In 2018, the specials was it 18 or maybe I'm thinking 19?
19 went to the 114. Yeah. But on initial release, the Heritage Special and the Road King Special, the Heritage Special came with the 114. The Road King came with the 107, which I think was a fail on Harley's part. Like,
no,
whatever, dude. You're eventually gonna jug the thing anyways. And cam it and all that shit.
Dude, I have a 12-second Heritage with a stage 1. And it's a shitty stage 1 currently. Hey, you're just pissed off all 88 inches over there.
Don't hate my 80, okay? Don't hate my 80.
Here's the thing. If you look at how do I want to say this? If you look at the price tag of the 114 Heritage versus the Road King.
Oh, yeah.
Why the hell would you pay more for a shittier frame?
It's
and
again, this is me personally. If I was gonna do it, if I was gonna go get a loan on a brand new bike or a 2 years old bike, I'm going all the way. I want it to roll out of the showroom floor with bags and, you know what I mean? Like the same thing with the chrome. I don't want the chore. So I would spend the extra money to get something that already has the aesthetic and the power.
Well, sure. But I'm looking at it from a ride perspective. Have you ever seen the Heritage or the Softail version of the police motorcycles?
Yeah, they're dirty.
Like out in the wild? Like, have you seen them out in the wild?
No.
Yeah, there's a reason. Because they fucking suck. When you can go get the Road King or even the police version of the Batwing, they ride those things. They ride them hard. Yeah. They have to maneuver.
Yeah.
So there's a reason they go to the touring frame. Now, I'm not saying it's the best frame, but I am going to say it is head over heels better than the Softail frame.
The new Softail frame and the old Softail frame.
Yes.
I don't know, man.
I agree with Johnny on that one.
Hey, mine has better angle. It has better suspension. It has better front forks and a way better ride. Because I have the linear power transfer, unlike with the shock and then the damper for the touring models. All right. I have hard bags, which really I looked at the size difference. It's negligent. And if I wanted to, I can go to I think it's Gellard Cycles has it too. It's the bagger kit for which is $100, and I go get a couple of bags off of Advan Black for cheap, and I can put that on there. You know, like the Heritage in my mind is lighter, better controlled. Because I mean, dude, I've scraped my hard lowers before I've scraped my floorboards. Like, and that is insane for a Heritage Softail. That being said, each of them does have their benefits.
Sure.
Well, here's another way to look at it. Like, I have a Sportster. You have a Sportster.
I do.
If I was going to get another Harley and go and spend all that kind of dealership money, I've already got a small. I don't need a medium. You know
it's
what I mean?
not,
I would
though.
go for a
No, you want to go big or go home.
Okay, my Heritage frame is 1 inch shorter than the touring model.
Right, but it's
Mick,
pretending like it's in between a Softail and a touring, and it's not.
It is a touring model according to Harley now because those dickheads flipped it over to the touring side.
This guy windshield and saddlebags is touring.
Yeah,
and you know as well as I do, inches matter.
Yeah, and
I'm a Sportster guy.
Okay, so you say inches matter, right, Norseman?
I do.
So I do enjoy my 26 inches bigger than your motor.
Fuck off.
So I mean, take the hold on. So Wind Reaper says Harley-Davidson does not currently make a big twin I don't like. All right, I'm gonna let y'all touch on that because.
So I have a question for you. If you're looking at 107 and 107, when you from the engine perspective of the Road King and the Heritage, why do you think the Heritage has less power, less torque than the Road King?
It's the counterbalancers. The Heritage also has 2 of them in there versus the single one that the touring models have.
Mm-hmm.
So you lose a little bit of power off of that.
Mm-hmm.
And along with Harley trying to upsell the touring models, so you can't always have the same power, which easily becomes unlocked with a proper tune or tuner.
Because it's fucking marketing. It's 2 foot-pounds of torque difference. That's 2 foot-pounds. Look, I mean, I'm looking at the specs because something didn't add up to me. Okay, so the Heritage is shorter to the ground, so it's lower to the ground. The ground clearance is less.
1 inch shorter.
Less. Yeah. Well, not even like half an inch.
Yeah.
The rake is significantly different. It's a 4-degree difference, which is why your touring bikes actually handle road courses better, or the motorcycle rodeo style courses better than the Softails do. Their turning radius is a lot sharper. That's what it comes down to. But look, at the end of the day, I'm looking at price. I personally feel, I can't say it's proven, but I personally feel the frame on the Road King is going to be better. And I look at it from the economics of it. Go all out and all that shit, great. But when you look at the price comparison, you're like, yeah, I'll spend the extra cash. A Vivid Black 107 Heritage is 19 grand. A Vivid Black Road King, again, both 107s, is 19.5. So for $500, I'm actually getting more secure saddlebags, a better riding frame, better handling frame, and something that, well, I'm not going to get into the whole, touring aspect versus not, but just because Harley went and fucked up the whole definition of it.
No, and the reason I like the Heritage is just because of, in my personal opinion, it rode better than the Road King at the time. And, like, when I test rode both of them, it wasn't so much of the way, like, the way it felt to me, and that's a big deal. Is like everyone's view of how a bike rides is different.
Exactly, it's your ass. At the end of the day, if you feel more comfortable and you felt the ride quality was better on the Heritage, ride the Heritage.
But I think
it comes down to personal preference.
Yeah. I mean, think about, why'd Maxwell get the Heritage and not the Road King? Well, he preferred the Heritage.
I had it first and he saw it.
That was probably it. Exactly.
Hey, low key.
I can call him, see if that's what really happened.
Call him and ask him how he got those tab mufflers. Just saying.
He won't tell me that, and I won't set him up like that either.
What? It's not a fucking secret. Like, that's John Maxwell is actually one of the first, what I guess call, like, massive YouTubers, motovloggers that I talked to and really got in contact with. And, like, he's just a down-to-earth, really cool fucking guy. And, like, the moment he heard his bike start up with those tab mufflers on there was, like, just perfect for me. Like, I was like, that moment when I was just like, dude, the smile on his face went from those Screaming Eagle Thunder Chicken fucking mufflers to something that sounds good. And I'm still curious what he's going to do with that bike. Those Carlini bars, everything like that he's done to it looks really nice. But at the same time, when I got my bike, I was also looking at the price of, like, Road Glides and the Road Glide Special, which I think was overpriced for a 107, honestly.
Well, the Road Glide, that entire grouping of bikes is overpriced for what you're getting. It simply is. You look at the competition, they're not priced. It's not a value buy, let's say that.
Oh, and that's kind of why, actually, I do push. And people ask, like, which Softail to get. Honestly, I do push and be like, get the Heritage, and it's not just for my personal thing. Right? It's like right now you can pick up my bike with same exact bike with a 114 from 18 for fucking $12,000.
Yeah,
and it's like, if you're gonna buy a bike as a 17 Road King, I was actually honestly at one time looking at trading my Heritage in on a Road King, and for a 17 Road King, they still wanted like $22,000 for it, a Road King Special. So it's also the value of what you're going to get for after pricing.
Yeah.
But here we go. Jiggy Fly says the used market is flooded with stupid low mileage bikes at half price or better. I'd never buy new.
There you go.
I'd agree with that straight up, because it's like, for me, I've been riding a 97 for quite some time now, and looking at the pricing, like the price points that Harley has on the newer bikes, why would I pay that kind of money when I could just go ahead and wait a year or two and then get them for a fraction of the cost? It's just, it makes no sense to me to pay that kind of money for a motorcycle that, is going to depreciate in value that much. That's not like a primary mode of transportation. I understand with, like, cars. I'm in the auto industry, and I understand with cars, you drive them off the lot and they depreciate in value off the rip. We get that, but like on a motorcycle, that makes no sense.
Why not?
Well, I mean, the mere fact that, like, if you look at, like, Harley-Davidson and, like, the way they, like, let's take a look at prices like the way they were like 10, 15 years ago, right? The prices were, I think, catered more so to the working man, and they were a lot more affordable. When you drove them off the lot, yeah, they depreciate some, but they wouldn't depreciate the amount that they're depreciating now.
So, but if we go back 10, 15 years ago, when the alleged price was lower, it really wasn't, because of the supply chain that Harley maintained. They purposely kept supply low and demand high. And it wasn't until around 2001, 2002, when they started breaking from that model.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, a wide glide from, 2000, it would have cost you almost $20,000 at that time to buy the damn thing, because that was one of the hottest bikes that year. It actually, for a number of years, the wide glide and just the bigger boy Dynas were huge. And when you only produce 75% of the product that's being demanded, the dealers
Set
can
the
raise
price
that
points.
price. Yeah.
Yeah.
So MSRP may have said $13,999.
But what you were actually walking out of the dealership with was much higher.
Exactly.
I got you. Okay.
So I get your point, but also looking at what the prices are. I just bought a brand new bike, right? And I'm looking at the pricing on these things. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, I get it. It's a union shop. They have to maintain union due, or the union pay and everything. But damn, how are these bikes jumping that much in cost? And when it costs you $5,000 and you're only getting about $200 worth of additional shit, that's why Harley's hurting right now. They keep going up in price, not adding quality, not adding technology outside of the normal stuff, and they're not doing anything really with Hog. People look down on Hog, but Hog was huge for Harley-Davidson. I mean, I drank the Hog Kool-Aid. I was an officer of a Hog chapter, road captain. Look, the entire purpose of Hog is to get people to put miles on motorcycles. That's it.
Yep.
And the more people ride, the more maintenance they're going to need, the more parts and accessories they're going to want to put on their motorcycles, and then the more likely they are to upgrade.
So Chopper Fed says, stop putting all this tech into the new bikes. That's driving up the prices. So do you guys think technology right now is what's causing the prices of the Harleys to go up? Or you think it's just Harley-Davidson that's really just being Harley?
I would say it's the shareholders. I'm not even going to say it's the motor company. It's the shareholders. And that's why I made the comment I did a couple episodes back. Harley-Davidson needs a CEO who knows how to take a company private. Yep. They need a rebirth. They need to get out of the fucking thumb of all of these shareholders who are telling them, we demand profit, profit, profit. Well, profit doesn't mean shit if people don't buy the product.
You're going to price yourself right out of it.
Exactly.
So going off of that profit list, all right, here's one I've had stewing in my mind for a few days, actually, and I started thinking about this is, like, we got y'all here. Also, too, is, Chopper Fett says, that's a valid at Johnny Roadblock.
Well, thank you, sir.
Chopper Fett's one of the
neat how it comes up on the screen.
It is, dude. You can, like, all you do is click on the comment. I have a full live. I mean, you guys can see it too, but I click on it, it's like it can pull it up. But here's my thing, all right. And I've had this question stewing in my mind, is the fact that looking at Harley Davidson's over time, and then I broke it down into the last 10 years of Harley's production. All right. What are some of the bikes that you think have devalued that shouldn't have, and what bikes are holding value you guys don't think should be holding the value like they are?
Well, I saw Chopper Fett in the comments also said, like, the death of the Dyna did a lot for people who are holding on to Dynas. As far as the resale price, where they've actually held their value for like 3 years now instead of depreciating, because people, like, Norseman was saying, like, aren't gonna go to the dealership, when they're on the hunt for that bike. And that's the hot bike for a few years. They just hold their value, man.
Yeah. But it also goes back to Johnny's comments of supply and demand. You know, there's only X amount of dynas out there.
Yep.
And those that are getting rid of them, you know, can pretty much set the market because the demand's there, but the supply is low.
Here's my question. When the current Softail and Milwaukee 8 lineup eventually ends, and we go through another rebirth like we just did with the death of the Dyna, will anybody give a shit? The same way there was an outcry over the death of the Dyna? Do you think
here's the thing, though?
They're so hardcore on the Softail, they die inside and paint their eyes and their nails, and they go emo and goth.
We got Patrick Hadrick back in here.
So,
what's up, y'all?
What's going on, man? Here's the thing,
What's up, Patrick?
There wasn't a big outcry over the death of the Dyna. Not
kind of was for a second.
Well, not in Harley-Davidson's eyes.
So was that death? Was the death of the Dyna though? Was that outcry because of Harley killing the Dyna for a better frame compared to the Dyna? Or was that outcry because all these kids that wanted that club style bike couldn't go to the Harley dealer and buy one?
That's the problem. The outcry was from the demographic that Harley's not actually listening to, even though they need to be.
That's a true statement.
I mean, if they gave a shit about what 25-year-olds thought, they would have probably done something different with the Dyna. But they don't. They're listening to folks my age. You know, I'm 37 years old. You know, I'm almost at the right age for me to get my first Harley. So look, they still haven't figured out that the sub 40-year-old men and the sub 50-year-old women are the demographics they need. You know, when I was still working for the motor company, their focus was more on Latino riders and Black riders and Asian riders. I'm like, you're missing out on half the entire world's population. Focus on women. So, look, they've started, but they're still not there. They're not listening to the demographics that they need to be listening to.
So when Reaper put out there, he said there's too many models. I sincerely can't pick one. Now, in my mind, I kind of agree with that. It's just like you're talking with the shareholders saying that we need to go private with Harley-Davidson and get them the fuck out of this whole everyone wanting to do a money grab off a company that is really, I mean, just floating above the water, honestly, in my mind. You think that
I would put in that I think that there is a lot of models, but the reason it feels like there's so many models is that so many of them are basically the same thing.
But right. So there's actually not a lot of models. You have an like 883 Sportster. You have a 1200 Sportster. Those are the only two Sportster models there are. Everything else is just trim packages.
Yeah,
you know, with the Softails, you have FX Softails, you have the FL Softails. That's the only two Softails there are, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you have to look at this. Now, in the touring family, yeah, you have a little bit more. You have 3 models.
Then you got the Tri-Glide.
Well, and then you have the Trike, right? But I'm saying from the touring, you have, in essence, the Shark Nose, the Batwing, and the Road King. That's it. So I see what they're saying, that, yeah, there's so many models, but it's not. It's just like you have a
from a marketing standpoint, it appears to be.
Yeah, but
to the consumer,
how many millennials can actually see through bullshit marketing?
I would say the marketing.
I would say we're better at it than our parents.
You know, and in my mind, right now, if I'm being completely honest, I understand but that's also something like we understand that there's not so many models. Okay, we understand that there's only certain designations. You understand what those letters are in the beginning of the type of motorcycle it is and the limits to it. But to the average person walking in that may have never owned a Harley Davidson, or the person that is, maybe just looking for their first bike, when they walk into that dealership, they see them all as different models. Do you think that's a little bit of sensory overload for the people that are going in there? And do you think that is just way too many things that...
My opinion on that, I blame the dealerships for it. I mean, I've been to some dealerships that the layout is phenomenal. It makes sense, and it's not overwhelming. But then I've been to dealerships like in which one is it? It's Barnett Harley-Davidson in El Paso, Texas. It's the world's largest Harley-Davidson dealership. It feels like it. You walk in, you're bumping into motorcycles everywhere. You're bumping into all of the shirts and, all the other bullshit people buy. It really comes down to the dealership, which I can't blame Harley for that. They do have floor planners that go out and help dealers, but still up to the franchise owner to put it out the motorcycles the way they choose.
You know what? I hate to say it like this, but I often associate Harleys, like their style of business and selling, kind of like Abercrombie and Fitch. Okay, or Hollister, or wherever the fuck those places are. When you walk in, they got the loud music playing. Like they got the smell of, the amount of bikes in there makes it so you can smell all the leather and everything going on in there. It's the new smell when you walk in. So I feel like there's that sensory overload is something that also turns away I don't know if it's they need to find their medium at dealerships. And you said you worked at a dealership. I know we've all been to a dealership before.
No, I didn't work at a dealership.
Oh, you worked
yeah, so I actually worked for Harley-Davidson Incorporated.
Oh shit.
Yeah. That's why they really hate my ass.
Well, and that's the big problem is that I'm sitting here as a consumer, right? And when I walk in, I see the new bikes, and you always are like, that's how they get people. They don't give them time to think. If you get time to think, you're probably not going to do it. But you get that person that comes in there and they're like, well, I've been thinking about a new bike, and they throw the money at them of like, this is what we can do for you. But at the same time, like that trick does not work on our younger generation when we can order everything, including motorcycles, off of Amazon.
Well, yeah. I don't know if I'd call them motorcycles, but yeah, they have a motor and there's two wheels.
Oh no, dude! You can buy a 250 sport bike off there now, shipped to your house.
Oh, I know.
Like, damn.
Do you check out Bikes and Beards?
Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, I watched those. But dude, for $1,600, like how could you you could buy a Grom clone for fucking $1,000?
Wait, they clone Groms?
Yeah, dude. There's a clone Grom you can get for $1,000, and this dude's had one. He's been riding for like fucking 2 years, and it has no problems. Like how long before how many times people are gonna freaking sell a Harley clone kind of bike off of that?
Yeah, but it's not. You can buy a Honda that looks like a Sportster, but it's not a Sportster.
Yeah.
So, same fucking diff.
But how do you convince some other kids that are learning to ride of that?
You don't.
Yeah,
you tell them to go get a Honda Shadow.
No, look. Who cares what brand someone's riding?
Oh no, it's not that. I'm saying as like a motor as the motor company, how do you convince people to jump on that?
The Harley-Davidson brand is actually listed as a luxury brand. They think of themselves as a luxury brand. That in and of itself is the issue. Now, you go start talking to 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds. Do you think they give a shit about what the brand name is? Or what looks cool and is going to drive someone of the opposite or even the same sex to them? Because let's face it, 18, 19, and 20-year-olds, dick and pussy's on the mind.
Just trying to get laid.
Yeah, what is going to get me from my hand to someone else doing it for me?
Throttle.
And let's be realistic. The guys who are out there looking for the women of the same age, they both think the same thing is cool, and that's going to be sport bikes. That's nature of the beast.
So you're just saying there's that turn from when people saw it as the pussy magnet of a Harley-Davidson versus now where they think it's about speed. You know, it's that bike that looks
Depends
cool.
on the chick.
Yeah. Look, I went to a chopper show last year. And I'll tell you what, I want to go to more chopper shows. I can't take my wife with me because my head's going to be doing this the entire fucking time. But chopper chicks, good looking. You know, a lot of them are yuppies, so you know they have their own money and they're clean, or at least cleaner. Then if you go to a motorcycle rally, you don't know what the hell that person, if you want to call it a woman, where she's been. And I mean, shit, you really want to have to lift up old lady titties? I mean, no one wants to do that.
I mean, they're not bad to throw over your shoulder, but hey.
I never got that. Okay, and I think that's something to think about. It's like I've had so many people I know that are like, man, that chick is hot. She's got some titties and stuff like that. And I'm just like, dude, like not as an objective person, 3, maybe 3.
Okay, can I tell you something? And I'm just going to throw this out there. If you've ever worked in manufacturing, okay, there's something that's called street hot and plant hot. Okay,
dude, I was in the military. I know it's how hot modified.
I'm gonna tell you this off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you this off the rip. Okay, a 9 in the plant is like a 3 in the street. Okay,
no, dude, you have military, dude. Literally, that woman or guy for the girl's perspective is like a fucking 3. Go 8 months without fucking anything, and it's like fucking 30. Like, yeah, definitely top of the line.
You're throwing money their way to jump in those pants.
I mean, and that's the problem for me is like, I don't know. I love being the unusual Harley guy in my mind because I fucking rag on like every one of my videos. I rag on them somehow. Like I made an Indian Challenger video, and I'm just like, that Challenger rides better than any Harley I've ever been on. Oh, there's Steve, Mullet Steve.
What's up, guy?
But seriously, man, like I rode that Challenger, and I don't know if you've ever done it, Johnny, but like, dude, you jump on that Challenger, and your opinion of it is gonna be like you're gonna be like, how the fuck is Harley still in business? But they don't have that support structure behind them yet, and that's the hard part about it.
So, is that the only Indian touring bike you've ridden of theirs?
Oh no, the other ones are shit, but the Challenger is actually really good. Like honestly, they're just.
So so the 3 that I've had the opportunity to ride, I thought they all rode exceptionally well. And I'll tell you, the power to weight ratio and the way that the bike feels is significantly better than Harley right now. But where Harley kills Indian every single day is fit and finish.
I don't even know, man. Like
the fit and we noticed this when we went to the Indian dealership, and we also saw this at IMS. The fit and finish of a Harley, the lines line up.
Whoa.
When you have the marriage of the 2 fairings together on the Road Glide, it works. It looks seamless. You look at the Indian, there's a fucking gap between the inner and outer fairing. The windshield mechanism, though it's badass that it goes up and down, it's flimsy as fuck. So I look at that. I was like, it's kind of like with Eric Buell and all the shit talking we do about him. It's like they got 90% there, and then just here you go, enjoy. Well, that's my only complaint about the Indian right now is they don't take that kind of thing into consideration.
I think the point you guys might have missed on the Challenger though is that bike was originally going to be a fucking Victory. That bike was designed to be a Victory, and then they changed it over to the Indian look. So like with a Victory look, that fit perfectly. like the way Victories were. And that's
okay,
what
so that might be the reason why Victory's no longer around.
I
Maybe their fit and finish was garbage as well.
and that's the hard part you look at, man, is that like Victory was actually, I think Victory could have taken down, like I forget who said it last week, but if they had like Victory and Indian, I think that'd be a good market, you know, where you kind of have the two different ways of it. But is that a
Here's
fucking...
the thing.
Oh,
Here's
that's
the thing.
butane. I thought that was a dildo.
Here's the thing. The only reason Victory is
I'm trying
gone
to do drugs over here.
I'm sorry, senior butt plug. Continue to be muted.
and Indian survived, as soon as Polaris bought Indian, Victory is going down.
Yeah.
Because Indian has the name. They have the length of, they were first to market before Harley. So Polaris targeted Harley. And they just proved it even more with the Challenger. I mean, they called it what it is. They're putting the challenge out there for Harley. It's awesome, but they just need to finish it. If they took the time and finished it and made it look seamless, Harley would be sunk.
Even without the support structure?
Yeah. Because enough people are going to start looking at the price tags and they're going to say, why am I paying this kind of money if I can go over here, pay the same and get a much higher quality, better performance, better whatever they look for from another brand? That's what it comes down to. And look, if Indian wanted to really screw Harley, drop the price of every one of their bikes that have direct competition by $1,800-$1,900. They did that. Harley couldn't compete with it.
I mean, and I think that Indian, so I think Polaris in general has jumped on the wrong path with Indian, because I noticed from the day when the Indians came out to the moment they are now, like, I don't know about y'all when you guys look at this, but like they literally have become Harley lookalikes. I mean, honestly, without, like you said, without the fit and finish on them. But the Chieftains, everything else, like they dropped the big like the gull wing fenders. They dropped all the head, like the parts of an Indian, and kind of streamlined it into looking like a fucking street glide. Into the Challenger, the more you look at it, the silhouette maybe, but I mean, definitely the Springfield is a Road King. The Chief is a fucking Softail. But
yeah.
But the problem is that Chief, if you want to put bags on it, do you know how much the bags are for an Indian Chief if you want to get hard bags put on it?
Aren't they like $1,200?
$5,000.
God damn! Kidding me?
$2,500 per bag.
You could just buy another fucking motorcycle.
That's what I'm saying.
Or go aftermarket.
And their stage 1 kit, $500 for the air cleaner, and it gives you a chip that tunes the bike to that. But you don't have that drastic ability to be around, like with Harleys, dude. I can order an S&S air cleaner. I can order a fuel moto. I can go anywhere from a cheap-ass intake. Like my Sportster is the best example. I can buy an Amazon air intake for $60. I can buy a fucking top-of-the-line one for $700. All right? But that one off Amazon is going to work almost just as good as the other one because it's the same design. Someone just cloned it.
Right. But Harley has, in the past, they had the top tiered marketing group. That's what it came down to. So the Harley's brand got bigger because no one gave a shit about any of the other brands. Who wanted to really go and deck out a Honda Shadow?
There's a market of people out there that do that.
Well, of course. But again, it's niche. Just like Indian today is a very niche market. Everyone talks, Indian's taking market share from Harley. That quarter, they sold 100 bikes more. Okay. Whoop-de-doo. The next quarter, Harley outsells them by 500 motorcycles. So it comes down to market shares not being stolen; it's shifting.
All right. Chopper Fed says people can ask you people can ask you what you ride, and you say Harley, and they know what you got. You say Indian, and people are going to be a mixed bag. I mean, it is because even people that don't ride Harleys, it seems in my mind, and I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but they could be a fucking stay-at-home dad. And they're like, oh, I got a Harley. And they're like, oh, man, you got a Road King. You got a Heritage. You got a fucking Fat Bob, Street Bob. Like, I'm just like, but you say Indian. And if you don't know what a Chief looks like, if you don't know what a Springfield looks like, it's hard to get that brand recognition. And you're right, man. Like, they sell them by 100 bikes, then 500 by Harley. But even in today's market, man, like, how many sport bikes outsold Harley that quarter? You know,
exactly.
And you guys talked about that perfectly. You guys talked about, what was it, the 5 bikes that you'd be most interested in that were not Harley-Davidsons. And I started Googling these bikes, and it's like, dude, a fucking Husqvarna. Like, in my mind, I never thought Husqvarna. I thought dirt bikes, but like an actual street bike, or KTM making the bikes they do, because KTM is past Harley in motorcycle sales. And that's just not dirt bikes. Like, that's actual, like, I mean, it is everything together, but still.
I do like those Super Dukes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're dope.
So here's why, though, no one sees that. It's because of how Harley was able to lobby the way that those metrics are being done. It's a heavyweight motorcycle. I don't think there's a single KTM that can actually get to the heavyweight class to keep up with Harley. So KTM, we talked about this, is a much better motorcycle. But here in the States, you go tell someone, oh, I got a Super Duke. They're like, oh, you have a big dog? But you see what I'm saying? Where'd my actual dog go? Okay, so I want to roll over him.
I don't know. They're pretty popular now.
They're getting there, yeah, because people are putting out content about them.
I mean, Walterific was a huge one.
Yeah, it's
like
dope.
2 million subscribers, and he's just like, what am I riding? A KTM Super Duke. And then here's a question for all of y'all. All right, and I want to know everyone's opinion on this, all right? Harley is making the Pan America. And they're stepping into uncharted waters with that bike. So, I mean, they're already competing and jumping into a market that they really don't have any experience in. But fucking KTM brings out their adventure bike. That looks way the fuck cooler in my mind. I mean, do you think Harley has a chance against... And then I see a Chopper Fett question I want to ask you guys next. But like, do you think they have a chance against companies like BMW, against companies like Honda with the Africa, against KTM with their adventure bike? Do you think they even have a chance against these bikes?
No, but they're not trying to. They're going after a different market altogether.
And what
that's just it. You know, you look at the popular adventure touring bikes, that's geared for the 30 and below age range. Look at the pricing on them. But then you look at Harley, that's for that 40-year-old who's a street rider who wants to also try out maybe going off-road occasionally, or who wants to get into the ADV side with all of his BMW riding friends.
Yeah, but if I fuck up an Africa Twin, I know I can replace all the body panels. Like, we still don't know about that Harley. Like, are they going to be aluminum? Are they going to be plastic? And I know they had released a little bit about it, but like, if you fuck up a Harley, like in my mind, I'm thinking as a younger person, which I feel like in their mind, that's the demographic that they should be going to. But also, like, think about that. I mean, I would be so worried to fuck up a Harley-Davidson bike just because I know that plastic that they have, if it is, it's going to be like $150 a set. versus going on Amazon and buying some KTM or Honda tank covers that could be $30.
But that's the same thing for every part Harley-Davidson puts out. They know as soon as they put something out, it's going to get ripped off within days, and there'll be a lookalike on it. And they're not doing anything extravagant where a patent infringement would come in. And again, most of this stuff's coming direct out of China, so they can't even file a patent claim if they had one. But one of the things I noticed in the mid-year disappointment that Harley did, if you saw some of their new accessory lines, they're actually mimicking the aftermarket.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going after the aftermarket. That's the smartest thing they could do. Unfortunately, Harley did a very Harley thing, and they overpriced it. So that's Harley's biggest mistake. They have to focus on profit margins so much. And we all know that we're not getting an American-made product that is, the best aluminum in the world. We're getting a stamped product out of China, just like all the other manufacturers are doing. So why would we pay twice the amount or 3 times the amount?
Well, it's just like you had my favorite one ever was looking at like a Ford Explorer and a Lincoln Navigator. All right, you're going to pay twice the money for the same fucking vehicle because it's an appearance package.
No. Considerably different.
Yeah.
Considerably different.
Of course. No,
it's got an upgrade suspension.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's not just but Harley.
You're in this situation, you're not doing
classics.
apples to apples. Yeah.
Well,
if we look at motorcycles, let's look at the CVO versus the non-CVO version of that motorcycle. You're paying such a higher price, but you could go and just build it or have someone else build it for you for less.
Yep.
And you'd have more power and all that.
Don't you give away my videos.
I did a podcast on this.
I have not listened to that one yet, but I know
son.
Dude, I am still making it through. Like I have to stay current, and then I have to go back in the past and catch up. So it's like, but no, I mean, like that's, and I had asked actually Bike and Bird about that too. Was like the video I'm going to be doing, and he really pointed some stuff out to me. Is just like he's like the big thing is talk about the price of what it costs to turn your bike into something like that, versus paying the money. Because you're right, a CVO Street Glide is $45,000. Where the Street Glide Special, and you could get a 131 put in that bitch, would run you what, 32?
No, not
It's
even.
lower than that.
Yeah,
It's like 26.
No,
28 maybe.
I'm saying the Street Glide Special with the 131 kit put into it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like that's the big deal. Is like you're paying for a 117, which honestly is not. And it's once again going from a 107 to 114 to 117. The differences are negligent. From the 114 to the 117.
So I can't speak to the 114 to the 17 because I had the big bore kit put on the new Road Glide as soon as I bought it. So I didn't even ride that one. But from 107 to 117.
Oh yeah, it's a big difference.
That's a legitimate difference.
No, that's on
my limited or ultra, whatever the fuck they call it nowadays. I'm lifting up the front wheel on accident.
Oh, I had the same ball. I had a little mishap at the drag strip because my Dunlop shit tires, but I mean, in my mind, and this is the one I wanted to pull up too, which is one. I'll go to this in a second, but it's. The problem is that like if I'm going to pay $45,000 for a motorcycle, I could go out and buy a Shelby Mustang for the same price and have something I could drive year round in theory.
Or
that
buy a
matters.
small house.
But that matters to you because you live in Detroit or in Michigan, right? I'm in South Texas. I can ride my motorcycle year round here. The guy that we don't talk about anymore, he literally, that was his only means of transportation, was his Road King. So, and let's face it, I know people in Milwaukee who ride to work every day.
Oh, oops, this one. So Wind Reaper asked, question for the panel, why isn't the Sport Glide more successful in the United States?
I don't think the Sport Glide's really that successful anywhere. Well,
I mean, it's a true statement.
Here's the thing. That's the sorriest excuse of a cafe style motorcycle I've ever seen.
So and this is going to be controversial, and whoever, if this person watches this, you know, it is what it is. But do you think that in the Battle of the Kings, all right, a huge competition, but I noticed that the motorcycles they were using for Battle of the Kings were very specific. It wasn't like it was this big group of different motorcycles. They all seemed to be down to Softails.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sport Glide seemed to be the one that everyone was turning into an FXR clone, honestly. And Matt Laidlaw did probably the best job of all of them, in my mind, just the way it looked when it came out. But do you think that was something that was worked with Harley-Davidson to try and revive that or bring that out, but also at the price of that bike of what that conversion is, to have his shop do it? I don't know if it's worth the money. And if it's just because it's a Laidlaw custom, but that his clone is selling for $50,000. Like they'll sell you one for $50,000.
Oh, they have to make a profit too.
No,
labor's not cheap.
Oh, I know, but like after you get that first initial labor done, what do you think about that? Like, you already have the science down to it. You have the guy that can do it repetitively, really quick. What do you think about that?
I hated the look of that motorcycle.
Oh, I absolutely hated it too. The little mini fairing.
I am simply I'm not a fan of the Dynas. So, but when I think about things, you know, the whole Sport Glide thing, look, if Harley-Davidson is sponsoring something, there's an agenda there. So to your point, to your first initial question, was that something worked out? Of course, because the Sport Glide does not sell. That's what it comes down to. They're showing people what you can do, and that's really what it comes down to. Show the customer, the consumer, that there is an aftermarket. There's some cool things you can do other than putting this retarded looking fucking wannabe fairing on a Softail.
So Chopper Pet Posrov, he said, I like the functionality of the Sport Glide detachable fairing, detachable bag. Granted, this can all be found in the aftermarket. In y'all's opinion, all right, I think that fairing on that bike was shit. I thought that little fucking miniature Batwing just looked terrible. But what do you guys, I mean, with all the things they on there, were they trying to kind of create a Dyna switchback with that? A version of the bike without the windshield?
Well, it is a switchback for all intents and purposes, but now it's a switchback on a Softail frame. And yeah, I don't know why they did a micro fucking Batwing. I mean, I don't know. That part just doesn't make sense.
It was dumb, and the bags don't hold shit.
Now, are they top loaders or side loaders?
They are side loaders.
That's what I thought, because the Heritage is still a top loader, right?
You can put like a hoodie in.
Top load lockable bag. That's a hard bag, leather covered, whatever.
Yeah.
But see, it's, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I want to switch over to something more customization to bikes, and since we have the expert on handlebars here, as self-stated, but not really, 20-something times, is, and I know Wigsley has a big stance on this, and I know the Norseman does. Patrick's on a sport bike, so I don't know if he has to really worry about his handlebars. But we all have small penises and ride Harleys, so we're worried about how big our bars are. It's a Harley thing. But
the bigger the better.
So what are your guys' opinions on bars for the bikes? You know, and this is just across the board. You could pick a specific bike. I know Wigsley absolutely hates buckhorn bars, so since he hates his buckhorns, what do you like to start off, Wiggs? What is your bars that you don't like, and what ones do you like?
Well, with the buckhorns, the reason I don't like them is because, and it's just me, it's a preference thing. This, like my elbow coming out and going in.
It's unnatural
as I twist throttle. It's just not comfortable to me. I definitely like my hands in a more straight position. I guess dirt bike style. Even on like a sport bike, the ones that have bars that have any pullback, I'm not as much a fan of. I prefer my hands at my shoulders, and straight out. Too high isn't comfortable, and that's aesthetic purely, I feel like, but personal preference too. My other Sportster that I'm riding right now, because my main one's broke down, has like the stock handlebar position, but moto style bars, so no like drag back. And while that's not my preferred position, I'm at least comfortable.
Let me ask y'all something, since y'all are the Harley guys. What is the deal? What is the deal with these dudes on these baggers with the big windshield and their handlebars are sticking way the fuck up over the windshield?
Are you talking about like the road
bangers,
like the club look?
He's talking
about
corny as hell.
He's talking about like ape hangers.
Yeah, on a bagger.
I'm guilty of that. So
you got the big windshield, and your hands are still stuck way up over the windshield. That just, I don't know. I don't like it. I think it looks corny.
Well, in all fairness, I only got like a 6-inch windshield, but my handlebars end up probably about like 4 or 5 inches over the.
So I've heard it said. I don't know if anybody disagrees, but every bit you go above your shoulders with your hands, you do sacrifice some control.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But from shoulders and down, you're really not making that drastic of a change in your ability to control. So between stock and shoulders, or an inch above your shoulders, is kind of neutral ground.
And Patrick, to your question, if my bars are up here and my windshield is up here, consider the douchebag riding it, because he obviously doesn't understand the concept of the windshield.
Yeah,
that's my thing. It seems like you got all that shit on the front of your bike to kind of keep the wind and debris and whatever off of you, your face, your hands, and everything. And then you went and stuck your hands up in open air.
Well, because it's a French it's a French thing. We surrender.
So on one of my road glides, I had 20-inch apes on there.
You had what on your road glide?
20-inch apes. Yep. But I'm also 6'3", and I had a nice big fat pillow top seat. So for me, I was riding pretty much straight. My shoulders were pretty much straight with those 20-inch apes. Now today, not this bike, not yet, but the last road glide, it had, I think, 13-inch apes. And
what's the legal limit these days? Ain't there some kind of legal limit on that shit?
It varies by state.
The limit
in Michigan, it's 15 inches from the crest of the seat to the top of the bar.
That also does not factor in low swept seats either. So that's where it kind of gets.
that's the thing is it's one of those things that's really like not primary enforcement. If
I've
that's
seen
something that the
cops.
cop, if he wants to be a dick about it, he can.
Or
You
if he
know,
needs a
it's
reason to pull you over.
yeah, I
Right.
mean, it's no different than every time you get into your car and you start it up. As soon as you put that fucker in reverse, you're a moving violation. It is what it is. But is it something that's like primary enforcement? Is it something that they'll go after? No. But if you're acting like an asshole, trust me, they'll find a reason.
And
Yeah.
you know what? I guess that goes for the other side of it too. Is do you like to control? Like, I don't know. So, has everyone in here, I guess, besides Patrick, had ever had like the T-bar versus standard handlebar experience?
I
All
have,
right.
yeah.
Which one did you like better? Because I'm putting, well, I guess, fuck it, I'm live on my channel, so I'm putting T-bars onto my Heritage, which is gonna be off the fucking walls and badass. But I mean, in my mind, I'm gonna look like a douche anyways with my fucking bars behind the windshield. But anyways, so did you guys feel better control when you're riding with T-bars versus like a standard handlebar, or did you not like the way it felt at first and then you adjusted to it?
So I never had high T-bars. I had drag bars. And
Yeah.
honestly, because of how much I had to lean over compared to my apes, where I'm more in an upright, my rider triangle is different. I found that I actually did better with my ape hangers than I did with drag bars.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I
And
was
I think
doing motorcycle rodeos or, road courses, I just, it felt more comfortable for me. Now, again, to remember, my center of gravity is going to be higher. So if someone is shorter and they like that more tucked riding position, well, shit, the T-bar or even just a tall drag bar is the way to go.
Yeah. See, I got the same problem that you do, Johnny, is that I'm 6'6".
Oh fuck.
So yeah, with the arms, when you got drag bars, I remember just always being like very leaning forward.
Yeah.
And I hate that riding position. So the control of it is not only am I holding up my body weight, but I'm also, trying to do this. With my apes, I'm just much more comfortable.
So Harley Crasher says I have to wait for a rally to decide on T-bars. Nothing around here. The
internet, my dude.
Do you think that rallies are a place that people are going to try these things out, like accessories for their bike? Do you think they're going to be more around the area where people are going to buy accessories? And also on the same side of that is, do you think people should wait for that moment? Is that Bikenberg? Tell him you're busy. Tell him to go.
No. First off, don't ever buy anything at a rally because you're going to be paying extra for unless it's from like a big
it's the
brand.
last day.
Or if for instance, Zero 3D, if you went to their booth, you're going to pay the same price no matter what.
Fucking hate Zero.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's my personal opinion. I don't like what they're doing for advertising right now. It's smart on their end. I just hate this fucking contracts and shit like that. I didn't mean to cut you off, man, but like the contracts and the content that they're like.
What contract?
You don't know about that shit, man? Like that's information I've figured out. They
just sent me this thing.
Oh, they did? There's certain motovloggers that they actually sign contracts for so many videos.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
And I'm just like, it's smart on their end. And Zero, like, I think my opinion on them needs to change. And I think that comes back to, like, sponsorships and stuff, which that's a whole...
With this contract shit, are they giving you that stuff?
Yeah.
So you get
Here's
given
the thing. And look, it comes down to this very simple business. They need to see a return on their investment. So because of your size, of your viewers and all that stuff and all your metrics that you provided to them, I'm guessing, or other motor vloggers will provide to these big companies, at the end of the day, they're going to look at, okay, if he does 5 videos and each of those videos is going to have 10,000 views in 1 week, how many clicks are we going to get? Because let's face it, after the number of videos goes out, if they're not going to get a return on their investment, they're going to tell you to go pound sand.
Well, and it's not even that for me, man, because like I don't live, like, I know some people do this stuff for, like, in their mind they're gonna get that sponsorship, they're gonna get that big break, and it's like, honestly, I just have fun doing this. I do this for me, and I've only reached out to 2 sponsors actually that I've ended up doing work with, and besides that, I mean, I do. Like, I have no problem with Ciro's products. I have no problems with what they do. I just think it's like I'm so close-minded about like supporting that small business in my mind. Like Wigsley, right? Works with Boomer's Bike Shop. It's a local shop that has motorcycle stuff. They have a little bit of everything, and I like that. I like that small business aspect of promoting the smaller businesses, because it's like I could see that going back into being
It's two different market. It's 2 different markets, though, man. Like that's a private relationship that I have with somebody in my community, who's been really good to me. But he's in a niche market, man, where he sells used Harleys, and like his part selection is not whatever I want at the Boomer discount. It's the suppliers he works with, and so there's certain things that if I wanted to put a brand new accessory or modification on my bike, he might not be able to provide me the little or no cost deal on that product, right? Because he might not have a relationship with them. So I'm free to explore, those other opportunities, because it's not competition. It's 2 entirely different markets.
And
so here's the thing around Ciro 3D as well. That is a mom and pop company.
Yeah.
It was, and that's my fault.
The marketing lady is the owner's daughter.
Oh, I'm willing to admit I was wrong, man. Because like in my mind, from the way it was marketed to me, and like a little bit of research I've done on it, is like it just irked me, and like understanding that, and like I'm willing to say, even on a live stream, like, hey, man, I fucked up. My opinion of that was wrong, because I honestly I'm so inexperienced with it, man. It's like, it's something that I grew up never asking for anything. All right. And that's not just talking Ciro. I never asked Ciro for anything, but like anyone. Like, I learned that I worked on a farm since I was 12. Make your money and get your shit. So I think that's a problem like I haven't experienced with, and it seems like y'all over there have more experience with it. Like, can you speak to that to like people that are getting up there in YouTube subscribers, or maybe having that offer? Is like how do you address that? I mean, to me it's an uncomfortable situation.
Well, but here's the thing. It benefits both parties. You're not begging for products. Hopefully you're going out and trying to build a partnership with a brand.
Yeah.
If you're willing to put your name on it and you have integrity, then it's beneficial for both people. Because if your fans trust the information you're putting out, and they know that it's not some bullshit that someone sent you, that they're going to pay you a royalty if you sell their product. I mean, look, I don't make any money from what we do for Between Two. None of us take a dime out. I'm probably $2,200 in the hole for the podcast, but we still make money, but we have a different cause. So for me going out, I have no problem saying, hey, here's what we're doing. Here's what I want your product to help me do. And that's raise money for veterans who are transitioning from active duty. Help with PTSD, help with, I have a charity. I mean, the three of us are the directors of a nonprofit organization. I mean, this shit means something. So I take that passion when I go and start talking to folks. When I talked with Ciro, they sent me the 2 sets of lights, the one that we did on Uncle Ken's bike, and then the one I'm putting on my bike. And look, they told me I need to put out the install video and do the review by the end of February. That shit didn't happen. My mom passed away mid-February. Shit happens. You know, they didn't say, well, you fucked up, send us our products back. They said, cool. When do you think you'll have it out? So it's a partnership. They want my listeners, my viewers, to go and buy their products. They're hoping that the people who actually listen to us acknowledge that we're going to be upfront and truthful with them. And look, there's not a damn piece of product that I will talk about as a sponsorship that I have not personally tested out.
Well, and I think, like, so your last podcast, or it might have been the one just before that, you guys talked about that, where it was the fear of, like, even, like, was it, which one of you was it that said, like, putting the disclaimer that I'm not a professional on the video or on the content? Because, like, I have that fear of, like, I have one experience, somebody else has a different experience, and then it's like, that can that discredit the way I look at things? And I'm not, and I also, like, I feel bad if someone has a bad experience about something I say, like, go do, and that's.
But here's the thing: if you are telling them to go buy a headlight, and that headlight turns out to be complete trash, and you don't put an update out, I blame you.
It's on you.
That. But if you do the proper due diligence, say you put on your bike, you rode it for 2 weeks, nothing bad happened, and you're telling your audience, hey, this is what I did. I installed it. I rode around for 2 weeks. Here's my thoughts. You know, you're providing your opinion of a product. And look, it annoys me, but I actually like it when content creators say, hey, I make money from this. You know, if you're telling me up front you're going to make money from this product, look, I will actually discredit you a little bit more. But look, products are products. Everything is mass manufactured these days. So I look at it from that standpoint. I provide the information and I give an unbiased opinion. That's what it comes down to.
It sounds like trading parts for advertising to me.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
100%.
And that's the thing is, like, they're, you know, these companies look at your like your subscription base per se, and they take a look. Okay, I'm going to send this guy some parts. He's going to hit, you know, if he puts a video out, he's going to hit, you know, 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 100,000 people. You know, in essence, the $50 for whatever part they sent you, it's worth the advertisement. Especially if it's something that you can back and say, yeah, I tried this out and it's good, I like it, and you're just putting your opinion out there. But there's 100,000 people that potentially can see that and say, you know what, I'm going to try this out. And then they go research the company, and then they go ahead and order parts from them. All from literally here's a freebie.
To me, it sounds like the manufacturer's getting the sweet end of that deal because advertising is fucking expensive.
Well,
It is.
It is.
And it's directed.
Yeah.
So if they can hook you up with some free parts, as long as the shit's quality, 9 times out of 10 you're going to give a good review, and they just saved a shit ton of money on advertising.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because this is nowadays this is the way to go. I mean, this reaches. If you stop and think about it, like, YouTube reaches so many people. You know, more so than putting an advertisement on TV or advertising in like a motorcycle magazine, because more people spend time online than they do doing anything else. This is how you get into
Well, and
their
it's
homes,
worldwide too.
Exactly.
It's worldwide. It ain't just local advertising. You're around the
the
world.
best part is, you know what the best part about the whole thing is? It doesn't cost you anything.
Right?
It really, for the most part, doesn't cost you anything.
So going off advertising, we have a bunch of kids that watch YouTube videos. They listen to podcasts. They do all that stuff. All right, and writing in general right now, writing is down. How can all the companies really get kids on bikes the way that it was sought after back when, like, when I was a kid, dude? It's like, I want a motorcycle. And now with all the technology, kids are more interested in playing Fortnite than they are, really going outside because they think they can be a pro gamer. And that's, I hate to say it that way, but it is like, people are like, well, I see people like Ninja and all them doing, like, I might be a pro gamer. So they don't really, like, going outside is not. So
it's generational.
It is, but how can we?
In my mind,
they're getting virtual thrills. They're not risking anything.
Yeah, you're taking a look at, it's like me trying to get my 3 kids, like, and get them off from a screen and get them outside, actually engaged in, like, the outdoors. It's like, if you can find me the key to that, I would be absolutely grateful.
So is that maybe the key on YouTube then, is to be able to find the way to get kids more interested in wanting to get on that bike and have that experience?
Well, because you got to understand, they grew up with the idea that if I want to see a foreign country, or I want to see a different land, or if I want to see something different, I can look it up on YouTube and I can take a virtual tour, per se.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So they don't have to ever leave the comfort of their couch to in a sense, experience it. But as we know, being out there, like standing in front of the Grand Canyon, literally is an amazing sight. It is beyond words how beautiful it is. But it's nothing that you can get that same experience or that same feeling from watching an aerial view of the Grand Canyon. You don't see where you fit, like how you fit into the whole scheme of things in life.
Yes, we would get the thrill from actually being there, and you get the sensations of the big clips and whatnot. But they're into the drone footage. That gives them a thrill, and like I said, you're at no risk at all. You can see all this amazing shit. You don't have to worry about slipping and falling down a damn hill.
So Harley Crasher said, my son is on Xbox, but my daughter helped me put my new exhaust on.
There you go.
I mean, it is. I guess it's really hit and miss on the generations, but I mean, do you guys think that, like, with y'all at Between Two Wheels, you guys have Bike and Bird, Uncle Ken, and you all making content on different platforms? Like, I make YouTube videos because I'm a tool. Wigsley's over there making YouTube content that, like, we're in. So how is it that we can, as motovloggers, get people and kids back into wanting to ride motorcycles besides doing wheelies and dumb shit on the streets? I mean, we all do it. We all have our fun and do some fun stuff, but you get people like, I hate to say fool again, but like, it's always controversial, crazy ass shit versus someone like Walterific who has, because these are, like, I'm saying, like, top 2 really YouTubers that kids are going to watch. That's out there just doing the normal thing, just riding around talking. So how do we get kids to want to ride bikes?
Awkward silence.
That's a hard question to answer.
Well, when we talked about this topic, are millennials killing the motorcycling industry?
Yep.
They're not.
Gen Z.
They simply just can't fucking afford them. Here's the thing, and a lot of people aren't. I think they forget about this. You were talking about how motorcycle purchases are down. Okay, that is normal. But when you start looking at people going out and riding and buying motorcycles from a demographic standpoint, that 18 to 30-year-old, they have student loan debt. They have, if they just moved out, they have lease or rent payments they have to make. They have to start paying for their own insurance. They have to start being adults now. So they're being smarter with their money today than, let's say, we were when we were that age. Well, I don't know y'all's age.
I'm 26.
42.
I have 2 Harleys at 26. I'm retarded.
So
I don't want to talk about it.
When we think about it, Patrick's generation, they didn't have student loans.
Wait a minute. How old do you think I am?
Well, here's the thing. Student loans, to the degree that we see them today, didn't start happening until 2000, 2001. And when it happened is when the U.S. government started backing student loan debt.
Yep.
And it's also around the same time you started seeing all these pop-up universities, as well as just the cost of tuition for a public university skyrocket. That's where it came from. And that hit my generation. I graduated in 2000. So for me, I went to the military. I was like, fuck college. But
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for paying taxes. But
I'm an Army vet too. Bite me. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I think some of that shit comes down to what these kids see from their parents,
Sure.
I mean, if you grow up in a family that your dad's got a motorcycle, your uncle's got a motorcycle, even if your mom might ride, you're more likely to get into that. But these days, you got all the normal people, they don't fuck with bikes, so the kids see mom and dad sitting around on the computer. They're going to do the same damn thing. Their whole world's going to be on that little screen.
I'm stealing that one thing you're paying tax.
God damn, son, you're still on that?
Dude,
I
have heard so many, because as someone that's in the military, you always try to figure out how to respond to that. And I heard one that was like, thank you for your support. But I've never in my life been like, when someone's like, thank you for your service, I'm like, because I don't know how to fucking respond to that. And I'm like, thank you for paying your taxes. I am going to fucking use the shit out of that. So that's stolen from Johnny Roblox, so everyone fucking knows. But I mean, I talked about this in the last live stream too. Is the student loan debt, right? And they can't afford motorcycles, but the aftermarket of bikes, you can get some from really cheap, and it doesn't have to be a Harley. And I think that's a problem with Harleys and Harley riders. Is instead of getting someone on the bike, they're worried about getting them on a Harley.
So, at your age, and I'm not making this an age thing, but
Ageist.
Are you more about the experience of what you're doing, or are you more about the activity itself?
And the Norseman will tell you this, man, I'm all about the experience.
Okay, most millennials are.
Yeah.
So if you think about this, I have student loan debt. I have the option of going and spending a couple of $1,000s to go buy a motorcycle, which I've never ridden before. I don't know if I'm going to like it, or I save that money and go have an amazing weekend in Vegas with my friends and have a experience they already know 90% chance it's going to be a positive experience. Whereas with buying a motorcycle and probably going into significant debt on something that is 50-50, 70, 30-70, if they're going to like it or not, especially if they don't come from a motorcycle embracing family.
Well, and that's for me, right? When you ask that, is Also, at the same point, our MSF courses up here, you can take are like $50, and they have the motorcycles. All right,
Same
so
here.
that's an easy one. Apparently, in California, they're stupid expensive, but like here, it's like $50. And I mean, the Harley one's $400, but it's Harley, whatever. But like an MSF at a community college is $50.
It's 25.
The last time I checked, it was 50 at Macomb.
Really?
It's $50 in Ohio. You get your license through the MSF course, and you get a break on your insurance because you took a motorcycle safety course.
That does make a difference up here in Michigan for the intro.
For Texas, you have to go to an MSF course to be able to get your license. They just made it a requirement.
So my question though, like what I was leading into is you're talking about the experience, right? Going out to Vegas, and they know the experience they're gonna have.
Mm-hmm.
But if that person like figured out they jumped on a bike, like for me, right? This summer I put out that video on Tuesday about all my destinations. Like there is nothing like I don't know if you've ever experienced this down by the Gulf and stuff, but like when you ride along the water, it's just like it's so peaceful and quiet compared to a city. And just
like going out to the country and riding.
Yeah,
Same thing.
And that's what I'm saying is like if we could get someone on a bike and get them, and I see the benefits of Eagle Rider right now because rent the bike, and if they had their license, they could get that experience. But being able to take that ride and go like figure out a destination, but the ride there and the experience and the brotherhood and the camaraderie of the sisterhood, whatever. Like, do you think that would change their mind? You know, having that one trip that could really make a difference. Doesn't matter what the bike is, just the experience of it.
Well, yeah. I think every time, like when the OG group, we all went out to Big Bend. When we went up to Arkansas, we had an experience that we will never forget. But no one sees those experiences. No one sees the antics that are going on, or all the stuff that YouTube would demonetize. We don't show that stuff. We talk, we jaw jack while we're riding. We get somewhere, and then the cameras are turned off unless they need some B-roll. But we don't. I think we as content creators do a really shitty job providing the experience for our viewers or listeners. I think that's on us to figure out a more conceptual way to actually help people. Like right now, all this coronavirus stuff with keeping people inside and not doing stuff. This is what they're doing. They're watching YouTube. They're watching, whatever other social media platform that has videos. That's what they're checking out. I mean, my numbers on the YouTube channel for the video playback of the podcast has skyrocketed. But we have to be able to provide the experience so they can see it. And then they would want to go try that.
And that's what I figured out. Like one of my videos that really stuck out to me as a content creator was actually with Wigsley. And it was a ride with Indian Larry for his foundation, the Agent Jack Secret Foundation. But like the way it felt is like you could hear the dumbass shit we're talking about as we're riding. Like it's literally like, oh, would you take a Harley, or could you take your motorcycle back in time, or would you be able to teleport, or like just dumb stuff like that? Because like I feel like that's the stuff we normally cut out, because we think that we always had to be going with a content that people are paying attention to. And that's why I sit there and like think about that and like what I want to do this year. And like the shit that me and Wigsley talk about while we're riding, like he literally looked at me in our Michigan Motovlogger meetup and he's like, "You look like Batman on your fucking motorcycle." Literally, like it's the funniest shit because it's just us in our natural environment. And I think that we, like you said, like we don't share the full experience because all they see is on the bike. And like how do we unlimit ourselves from just being on the bike as a content creator or being in a little studio?
Well, you guys know who Grommy Bear is, right? Everybody, Grommy Bear. All right. Like, no, you don't, Roblox. All right, so he's a moto vlogger. He rides a Grom. He's like probably early 20s. Channels like that, I think, are gonna get sort of the future tech generation in, because his stuff's so much about like the GoPro and the drones and like stunting out his little Grom and figuring out ways to get that shot of that wheelie and stuff, and like that's the kind of stuff. If I was like 17 and I saw like, oh, that thing brand new is $3,000, you know, and not going to kill me probably.
Or not to mention, you can take one of them little things anywhere, all kinds of places you ain't supposed to be. You sure ain't gonna take a fucking dagger.
That's more fun.
My fiance literally had to talk me out of spending my stimulus check on buying an Amazon Grom.
Don't buy an Amazon.
Because, dude, no, fucking dude, like the stuff I've seen with people on that have those bikes like for $800 or $900 shipped to your door. Like what do you have to lose on that? Worst case scenario, you get a new motor for it that costs
$150.
You are gonna look like Great Ape on the roof of a van.
Dude, no, go look at my Instagram. I have a picture of me on a Grom. I got to ride around the freaking Harley dealership. I'm just like, at that moment, I'm like, I need one. Because you do. You feel like the dude on the big wheel bicycle back in the day with a freaking penguin suit on, going like this with a big smile.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I've built mini bikes and just had a blast riding around the neighborhood. You know, just fucking around on a fucking mini bike.
So
it is a blast to ride a corny little bike.
So as we're talking about this, oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's like I don't know what it is. No matter how old you get, because I imagine I'm probably the second oldest one on this panel.
Here we go.
I'm just throwing this out there. Doesn't matter how old I get, tooling around on a mini bike or something just like something small and fun. It's just that it's small and fun.
It's fun.
It's like those stupid little bird scooters or the Lime scooters. Yeah. We had a blast on those things.
Especially Justin, because they named it after him.
Yeah.
Well, no, I got
ripped really bad.
You definitely checked your ego.
you did what? You did what?
I got like super ripped in San Francisco. I was doing some work out there. And I hopped on one of those, just kind of zooming around downtown San Francisco. Oh, it's a blast,
dude! I'm gonna tell you this. So last year at Easy Riders, they had the drift trikes there. If you've ever had an opportunity, those are fun as hell.
All right, so we're talking about the content creating. Blacktop Devil says, "That's why I do the opposite. I try to film fun shit we do, and I use the riding footage as B-roll." Okay, and I can say that for him, he does, because I don't know if you guys, Blacktop Devil is Johnny Real Black.
I do not.
Okay, so go check him out. He's like, his channel is growing quickly. I think he's like 5,000 or 6,000 subs now. But go over to his channel and check out the video of how to pick up girls on a motorcycle. Just watch that shit, and like, it'll throw you the fuck off, but in the end, it's funny as shit and worth the watch. It's like 4 minutes, but it's stuff like that I want to get back, like be able to do, because like me and Wigsley, when we get together, it turns into a shit show of just whatever the fuck happens. Like literally, in Michigan stuff's legal, whatever. Anyways,
I get high and ride my motorcycle and talk mad shit. That's what I fucking
right on.
YouTube.
There we go. Anyways, but you do that shit, man. It's like just being able to see the outside of it. All right, being able to see the other side of it and be able to show people like the family, or like the family you kind of build. Because you might be that loner, you might be that person out of college that never really had any friends, but you get on a bike, you're gonna send them. Yeah,
all of a sudden
Blacktop, you're gonna send them to that video. Yeah, I'm gonna send them to that video, Blacktop. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of times, man. Like I have so many problems, like focusing my mind just because of stuff that from the military and stuff. Like my bike is my freedom. Like of all the things I've tried, being on my bike is the one thing that my mind it clears it. Like nothing else matters. It's fun. I'm going to be scared shitless to ride my bike across the Mackinac Bridge this summer. Which, to put you in the point, is I don't know if you know where the Mackinac Bridge is, Johnny.
It's gonna be fine.
It's a 5-mile bridge. At the highest point, it's 485 feet, and they have grates that you can look straight the fuck down.
And there've been a couple times with the wind that comes through.
Oh, don't even say it.
Taking Yugos over it.
Yeah, it's blowing vehicles off the bridge.
I ain't fucking with that.
But
A sport bike is like a sail in the wind.
No,
You get hit with a side breeze. My
a fat
God.
guy with ape hangers is a sail.
Yes.
a fat boy is a sail.
Yeah, but you're talking about a 900-pound sail, and I'm talking about a fucking 500-pound sail.
Oh, a fat boy weighs 700 pounds and has these wheels that literally are just made to fuck your life up.
There's a bridge.
I've been blown sideways. Literally at highway speeds to where I'm leaning like this and I'm going straight and I'm still being pushed across lanes.
Yeah.
It was shady as fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I honestly just want to take the Sportster across because it's a smaller target.
Yeah, no.
Wigsley's taking his Sporty across.
Statistically, you're more likely to. I'm going to make this up. I have no authority with which to say this, and I haven't Googled it. But I believe that you're more statistically likely to be struck by lightning twice than you are to crash a motorcycle on the Mackinac Bridge. It's super windy, but like no one crashes it or goes over.
Except for the Yugo. You go over the edge.
That lady years back at like literally it was high wind to be fair, but right, wrong, or indifferent.
One of my bikes has been over that bridge several times.
So Wind Reaper says, and I don't know if we're all experiencing this, especially as content creators. Wind Reaper says, I have no idea where I'm going to ride this year at all. Events I had planned are canceled. All right. We all are experiencing that. The shit we had planned is not going to go the way it is. We have a psychotic fucking governor that's... I know Wigsley has a rant about that bitch here in a minute, but I mean
quarantine this fucking dick.
But I mean, that's so how, like, I mean, for you guys, like, I mean, down in Texas, y'all got a little bit better down there because you can ride year round. But like, we're up here, like, how you guys creating content? Like, everyone on the panel says, like, how you guys gonna create content this year, or what's gonna be happening? I mean,
so what's stopping people from creating content?
Well, no, I'm saying, like, we all had planned content this year, right?
Right.
Stuff we already had planned out, time off, whatever. So how do you fill that? How do you fill that void? What is it? Just find a place? Like, cause there's a bunch of places up here we can ride to that are really badass, and I'm about that.
So here's the question, right? I had planned to go to the ROT rally, the Republic of Texas rally. If it gets canceled, okay. If I already had that time booked, right, then I would go look for something I could go do that I've never done before and create content from that. It comes down to get out and fucking ride. At the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to. Yeah. Some of our earlier events this year got canceled. That sucks. Doesn't stop anyone from going out and riding. Hell, that's the ultimate social distancing right there. It comes down to, just because something gets canceled doesn't mean you can't go and still do something else. That's the pleasures of being in the United States. Some shit gets canceled one place, you can go somewhere else.
Well, bikers are socially distant by nature. This shit ain't nothing new.
Yeah, but we like to do things, riding a motorcycle is very individual, but we like to do it collectively.
Right.
It's kind of a peculiar mindset.
Holy shit, we're coming up on over 2 hours. Holy shit. I always do this, man. It's like I allot an hour, and it turns into we going through my mind of dumb shit I have in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off for the night right there, guys. I appreciate everyone being on the panel, everyone that's in the side chat. I know I got distracted and I should have fucking gone through and been like, hey, what's up, like I normally do to everyone. So my apologies for that. I suck at life. I'm a dick. I'm also a moron, so we all accept this. But all right, for now, I'm going to end it there, guys. And as always, I hope you have a great day, evening, night, morning, afternoon tea, brunch, lunch, nightcap, midnight snack, crumpet, McGriddle, bacon sandwich. And remember to always ride for freedom. And go listen to Between Two Wheels, you douche.